It's a pleasure to be here and work with you guys talking about the subject of enterprise application and business process integration. So throughout this 2800 course, you learn about various topics within information systems. And so a lot of you guys may not be information systems majors or even computer science majors, but marketing, finance, accounting, econ. And so the reason why you take this course is because this course provides an overview and gives you enough information so that you can understand the importance of information systems within all particular fields. So if you're an accounting major and you're actually learning about various accounting systems, you have accounting information systems that help you do your job much more efficiently. If you're an econ individual, you're learning about statistical processes, things of that particular nature. However, you're also learning about tools and programming languages, such as the R programming language, learning about data visualization, data analytics, items that are derived and tied to information systems. In the past, information systems was treated as a silo. And so when information systems were treated as a silo, numerous groups did not think that they needed information systems. They're like, well, okay, you got the IS guys, you guys are doing maybe some database or some type of computer something. We're not actually needing that. But now as we understand the importance of IS and how it ties into so many different facets of life, individuals have realized the importance of IS. For example, you think about your mobile devices, information system. You know, it's a mobile network, personal area networks. All these items are IS related items. They're all technology items, technology-based items. And so when you think about actually creating a competitive environment, it is essential that you have at least a high-level view or understanding of these particular technologies. So we're going to talk about business process and business process integration and business integration. Right, so what you see here on the screen is basically an item that was posted by Margaret Roos, and it's talking about business integration as a strategy that is to sync IT and business cultures together. So what has happened in the past, you had the CFO and the CFO is the chief financial officer and the chief information officer not really aligned in terms of goals. So you have the tech guy saying we need this particular technology. It's we need it now. And you have the chief financial officer saying, okay, well, why should I invest these millions of dollars or this amount of money to actually get this technology? What does it do for the organization? And that's why process integration is important and understanding the various cultures within each. So here this is saying that it's important to assimilate technology into the business strategy and goals, right? So if my goal is to increase revenue, how might technology actually do that? So I can say, okay, I need to increase my market share. I need to think about ways of accomplishing this. Okay, well, I need to increase my marketing strategy. Think about some of the interesting and fascinating ways for marketing these days. Social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, other Web 2.0 and 3.0 tools that are actually out there that can help organizations survive and grow. So now I say that I'm the tech individual, and I say, you know what, I need a developer to actually develop apps for Facebook or Twitter so we can actually market to a entirely new consumer base. So, and I say, okay, this is what it's going to cost us. You know, this is what it's going to cost us for the investment, and this is the return on investment that I need. That would actually get the chief financial officer his ears perked, and he would say, oh, wait, this is great. We can actually support this. So we will put this in our, budget for the next year or the next quarter, whatever we may have, to actually get that particular role filled. So that is why business integration with IT is extremely important. So here it's just very short. There's more items that you can see, but if you go to Tech Target and then CIO.com, you can see a lot of items relating to this particular topic, and and other items that are associated, as this is a huge issue. And of course, security is one that's tied to it as well in terms of investing for critical infrastructure, business continuity, disaster recovery planning, and all those other items associated with maintaining confidentiality, integrity, and availability of a system. Now, there's different ways to ensure that the rollout for the IT leader works. One item is, build relationships and always think about value. So build relationships with organizations internally and externally, and then think about what is that particular value. You know, like I said, what is the ROI? So if we need to purchase equipment, hire new employees, training, you know, an example would be an organization that we needed training to be effective on a system. So we knew we needed a system, but we didn't have the funds actually to go out and hire these SMEs or subject matter experts. We actually had to build that skill internally, and we figured it was better to build it internally for the long term. Yes, it was pricey. However, we were able to build that skill and maintain that particular skill set. And then another item is, you know, you gotta build trust. So you need individuals from the technology standpoint, and well, actually on the business side of the house, to actually trust what the IT or the IS individuals are saying. So if you say, hey, we're going to build and implement a system, and this is what we're expecting ROI, make sure you hit those objectives. Make sure that the individuals sitting in the seats that are able to write the check say, oh, well, we know we need this. What they've said has been done in the past, and the plan that they put forward is one that's achievable. Very important, because you have to build trust in whatever you do. And so you have to think about your high-level strategic goals of the organization. You cannot just think about the goals of that particular department or that business unit. Think about what does the organization as a whole need, right? So if the organization as a whole doesn't need the greatest and best equipment for accounting or financial reports, then you don't want to spend the funds or expend the funds to actually implement this entirely new, crazy, gee whiz system if the organization as a whole is not going to need that system. However, if the system is a legacy system, which means it's old, it's outdated, it's not interoperable with other systems due to file formatting or data types, then you can make the case, say, hey, we need to make sure that we're keeping up at least with the times, that our software is going to be, this legacy system needs to be replaced. So we need to be able to work with these other data formats, and our system is not secure. You know, we're going to have customer data be lost. So now you have the, I guess, the base to put forward a proposal to say, we need this system. This is why we need it. This is the money that we could lose by not having the system, and this is what we can make or maintain by getting this new system in place. And you got to put the whole picture scenario there. You know, state why you need the system. You know, the bottom line, profit and loss. You know, everybody in business is, what they care about is profit and loss or P&L. You know, training that's needed. Think about the pushback that you're going to get from the current users. So how are the current users going to push back? What is the learning curve for people to be effective? You know, you think about change management. Whenever you insert change into a system or organization, there will be a period where the productivity is not as high. So therefore, you say we're expecting for maybe a month or 2 months to be lower productivity. However, we're going to have individuals actually working with these end users day to day to make sure that the productivity actually gets back on track, if not better. And then, of course, it's important that the C-level or the senior executives continuously work together to share their ideas and what they plan on doing, or kind of the thoughts, so that they can, you know, further understand each other's role within the organization and how they can accomplish being successful as a unit. And that's important as well. All right, so at this time, if you have any questions, please type or speak them. I'll give you about a minute if you have any questions to ask, and then we will continue. Okay, it appears that we don't have any questions at a time, so we'll jump. We'll talk about business process modeling. Now, business process modeling, or BPM, it's really tied to system engineering, and system engineering dives into multiple facets. It's just software, IT, IS, but it covers the cradle to grave lifecycle. Think of it as the SDLC, the system development lifecycle. So BPM basically represents, or is an activity of representing processes of an enterprise. so they can be analyzed or improved. When you think about quality management and quality systems, BPM allows an organization to understand how does a particular process work and how do individuals need to navigate in that particular process. And so that's what BPM does. And so BPM is it's a great particular process or modeling process, and the objective is great because what you're trying to do is increase process time, reduce waste or reduce cycle time, increase quality, reduce costs, and that could be labor, material, scrap, all those items talking or dealing with quality systems management. And then one of the great things is motivated by the need to document requirements of a particular project or system. So now you have requirements that are being documented. So you know what the actual project needs, how to test those particular requirements, and then how to tie those requirements in to the higher level needs. So for example, the organization at the high level, we think about the higher tier level, says we need to replace our legacy systems for accounting. So we know what the need is from the higher level, from the executives, and they've gotten that from their stakeholders or their customers. Now we say, all right, so we know what the need is. So that can drive a requirement to say we shall replace legacy systems with new accounting software, or new accounting information systems. Now from there, you can derive a number of items. The system needs to be interoperable with X. The system needs to allow multiple concurrent users, and the number of concurrent users need to be maybe 25, if it's a small organization. If it's mid-size, maybe 100. If it's a large enterprise, maybe 200-300 plus, right? And then you have a budget that's associated with that particular item that's tied to a requirement as well. And you have a scope, what is actually needed because you're scoping it out with the requirement. And then you have the time, like when you need to actually roll this out. So you have scope, budget, and time. Sorry, scope, budget, and schedule. So with scope, budget, and schedule, these are three pillars tied to really, project management. But again, it ties into many other facets of disciplines. Now you know that these particular requirements that you're actually going to map out, how they actually need to be laid out. So now a business model is essentially, it's a framework. So think of a business model. With an BPM, business model is essentially a framework. Now the business process are basically structured activities. So think of these as structured activities or tasks to produce something, right? It could be a service or a particular product. So the business model, framework, business process, structured activities. And then you have items that are, and you have artifacts that you may create. These can be, project documents, requirements documents, test plans, use cases, a ton of various items that actually are tied to that particular process. Now, one of the neat things, you have actually programming languages tools that are used for BPM. There's a number of items. You have business process execution language. You have XML, process definition language. You have some vendor specific items. And you have some, open source items that you use or tools that actually talk about the process as well. You can do it from an enterprise level using enterprise architectural tools to talk about various items. Now, one of the neat things about this is tied to CMMI, which is the capability maturity model. I'm going to share CMMI with you guys. So this website here is taken from the Software Engineering Institute at Carnegie Mellon University. And CMMI is basically a maturity process to help organizations understand where they are in their particular development process. So with CMMI, it's people are using this particular maturity process for project management or program management, system engineering, and software engineering. And a lot of your IS related items are going to fall within the software and systems field. So I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see this a little bit more. So this website is pretty great. It talks about the various products and services they offer, various training, certification, tools, and methods. And so here you can see about some of the various tools and methods that they have: acquisition support, risk management, right? Risk management, software architecture, system of systems, process improvement, process and performance improvement, measurement analysis. We're going to click on one of these items here. And when we talked about quality, actually, improving quality, that deals with Six Sigma. So Six Sigma deals with, quality systems management. And so here it gives you kind of some of the tools and items available to help you perform some of those various activities. Well, lean process for IT is very comparable. So lean is a very generic term, right, Mike? So we say we're going to institute lean. Lean is instituted in engineering. It's instituted in accounting. Lean is the ability to reduce and remove waste, right? So organizations say we have to get leaner and meaner, and we need to be more we need to look more profitable, right? Maybe the organization is trying to hope for an acquisition. They're trying to sell themselves off, or they're trying to cut costs by reducing waste. Because what you have happen a lot of times, organizations are pretty much offering the same products, right? So you look at Walmart, you look at Target, very similar products, different quality, of course, but there's a number of other stores that do the same thing. So when you think about what can I do to increase my profit, well, I can reduce waste. Maybe it takes me 10 hours to build product A, right? But this other company is building product A, a similar product for product A, and they're building it in 5. So now I got to see if they're able to build it in 5, what type of waste do I have in my organization? What's wasteful in my process for getting these similar or exact same product out that's taken twice as much? So something to think about. So think about it as an elimination, process elimination of waste. But yes, it is, like I said, it is very, very comparable. But lean has been a buzzword. Back in mid 2000s, every organization was offering a lean certificate. There's a few schools offering Six Sigma degrees and certifications. So individuals would be concerned with removing waste, right? So they would say, okay, well, I'm doing this particular job. Is there a way I can do this task much more efficiently? So back at Rockwell Collins, every new engineer was required to actually attend and receive their lean electronics green belt. Yeah, it was lean electronics green belt certification. So we got a minor project. We documented, how long it took us to do these particular tasks, and then we had a senior manager or our manager actually sign off that we've come up with a method to reduce waste. Because when you're bidding on government contracts, you're talking about you're sharing similar talent, because people go back and forth between the organization. You have IP out there, but if it's just a general support task, then at that particular time, you are looking at reducing waste and ways to do a job much more efficiently. So that's where lean comes into play, and where lean is highly important. Now, in terms of business process, CMMI helps out because it allows an organization to do a task and make sure they're doing the task the same each time they're doing it. So here's an example. I go to a store, right? I'm going to get something to eat. And around St. Louis, there's some great restaurants, and there's great mom and pop shops. The problem with some of these mom and pop shops, I don't know if I order the same thing the next day, will it taste the same, or is the quality the same? So think about that as a tech organization. I get a computer, right? I have just purchased this new amazing computer, and I'm like, okay, the next year I need to get another computer. I need a higher processor, something that, and I want to get a solid state. I have a regular hard drive now. I need a solid state. Now I go back to that same organization. I buy a similar computer with maybe different hardware components. However, it's not working, right? It's not working right. It's malfunctioning. So I take it back and I have them replace and they give me another computer. Now this one's not working, but now on the 4th try is actually working. So when you have CMMI in place and you're saying that you're a level 3 organization, I'll go through the levels. Now one can actually say, okay, there is some expectation that that particular system will work as expected. And so that's what CMMI does. It places that expectation and the actual customer that they have been certified or credited to a particular level that they can actually do something, and they have tools and processes in place that allow for this repeatable process to happen at a particular maturity level. So I'm going to show you how the maturity levels look. And so this is how the maturity levels look. And so you have 5 levels. And so level 1 is initial, right? You have processes that are unpredictable, poorly controlled, and reactive. We call level 1 hero. Everyone's a freaking hero. You have awesome individuals working, however, nothing is repeatable. I haven't, the next time that task is done, maybe the first time I completed it in 20 days. Next time it takes half a year because nothing is repeatable. Everyone does their own thing. And it's reactive. So have you ever heard the term putting out fires? That would be level 1. Everyone's just putting out fires. They're doing what needs to be done to get something done. Now, level 1 is great if this is maybe some entrepreneur shop, right? I'm creating some new product, I'm getting the product out. Maybe that is okay during this particular time. But afterwards, the organization will fail because nothing's repeatable. Now, level 2 is managed. Basically, this item is still reactive. However, there's some type of process that's in place for projects. But really, there's no real management. It's just some management, some level of control, but not enough to be efficient or effective. Now, level 3 is defined. Now, 3 to 5 are great, and 5 is amazing, and not many organizations have CMMI level 5. But 3, you have various processes that are in place. You have a process for logistics, you have a process for accounting, IS, all these various items. You have processes for doing particular tasks and developing products. Now, 4 is where you have your processes that are identified and documented. 3, at level 4, these items are actually measured to control at a quantitative standpoint. So I can say, based upon the last software releases, it has taken us X amount of time, and these are the amount of defects that we found, right? And we can track how many defects or how many people are or are not following the process. Now, when you get to level 5, this is strictly, you're still doing all the other items that you've done before, but now it's on process improvement. So you're improving the process, you're optimizing everything you have, and you're making it even better. So any questions on CMMI? So I'll give you some time to type. So if you have questions, just go ahead and type it in, and we'll talk about those questions. Okay, so the next item we'll touch on a little bit is enterprise applications. So enterprise applications are applications that can be used across the enterprise. I hear buzzing, so that means I have received a message from you. Yeah, I'll post the links, and then also once this video is there, you'll actually have links to this as well. Because you can just take a look. If you look here, you can see the link. We talked about CMMI. The link is right here. And so you'll have this and it's archived, which means you'll be able to just play and look at the actual item as well. But I'll post some links as well. So you'll have those. And then if you look for, I'll post them on the discussion board, and I'll send out an email. All right, so let's talk about enterprise applications. So enterprise applications are applications that go across the entire organization, right? So we can think about database, We can think about now even cloud software, business intelligence. We can think about enterprise resource planning, enterprise asset managing. And what I'll do is I'll actually have a session next week that strictly talks about enterprise applications and then some various tools and kind of enabling organizations using open source software and stuff like that. So individuals can understand what open source software is. And I'll bring up some of these enterprise applications that can be used for business intelligence, data visualization, or just big data in general that are actually helping organizations be successful and navigate this ever so rough terrain of the business world, this particular days. But I'll give an example of some of the items that I will go over. Just going to move this to the side, and I'm going to bring up a tool. All right, so this is one of the items right here. This is RStudio, and RStudio can help you do BI and data analytics and stuff like that. And so it's a great tool in helping organizations really understand what they are doing in terms of looking at raw data and stuff like that. So this is one of the tools that we'll actually talk about. We'll talk about this tool. We'll talk about some open source applications, and I'll bring up one right now. So this item is LibreOffice. So as this comes up, I will share it. And LibreOffice is a great tool for replacing Windows. So hopefully it comes up. All right, so while I'm waiting for that, what I will do is I will bring up SourceForge. Share my screen yet again. All right, so here's SourceForge, and what I will do is I'll go through some, next time we talk, I'll bring up some various enterprise applications that are here and pretty much free, open source, so you have the source code as well. And I'll go through some of these items that can be used. So here on sourceforge.net, business enterprise, you can click business enterprise. And you can see a ton of tools. Here is showing OS Linux because this is actually Ubuntu that I'm doing everything on. But it shows some of the items, Apache OpenOffice, HPCC systems. This is just for big data analysis. Keep safe password, keeping another writing tool. Project Libre, this is a project management tool. This is awesome. I actually use this tool on my system now. So for organizations that don't have, the funds to spend on, Microsoft Project or other project-related tools, they can use tools like this. So we'll spend some specific time going over some enterprise applications the next time we talk. Like I said, we'll schedule that probably for Monday. Yeah, probably Monday, Monday next week, early next week. And I'll go through some of these applications, and I'll talk about them and kind of the importance, and talk about some cost savings for the organization in terms of enterprise applications. Now, do you have any questions at the moment in regards to our discussion today? If not, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and then we will talk again tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll do some demonstrations on business intelligence, and we'll talk about the reasons for using BI. We'll talk about some visualizations and stuff like that. And I do appreciate you actually logging on and participating. All right, I got a question. It must be from you. All right, perfect. So this is me. You can see me now. I'm actually in my dungeon with tons of lab equipment. I'll show you the lab equipment real quick. So there's servers, switches, and tons of stuff. So if we're talking and you see me in this particular area, this is just where I do a lot of my research and lab equipment and whatnot. All right, again, thanks for signing on. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow. And hopefully I can actually hear your voice and we can talk. I'll see you later. Thanks for dialing in.